Hey guys, what's up? It's TF Welcome back to the channel, and today we're going to be taking a look at the Bandai Tamashii Nations Robot Spirits Rebuild of Evangelion EVA Test Type 01. Ever since watching EVA about a year and a half ago, it quickly became one of my favorite anime, and I was trying to figure out for a while which company I wanted to go through when it comes to getting EVA collectibles, because some of them could be pretty rare and expensive, but then last summer, Bandai Tamashii Nations announced that they were reissuing their Robot Spirits EVAs, and I decided to pick this one up as well as Unit 0, and I have Unit 2 pre-ordered. I actually have yet to watch the Rebuild films, but as soon as the last one comes out, I will be watching all of them, so don't worry. I'll make sure I try to get all of my EVA lore as correct as possible. I don't think I'm missing out too much when it comes to this figure. It's pretty much some stuff I've already seen in the original anime. So if I mess up on anything, please let me know down in the comments below what I do. I'm going to stop wasting your time talking about the patching because there's a lot to talk about here. On the front here, on the top half, it does say Robot Spirits Inside EVA. You have a nice image in the background there of the figure, and then in the foreground, it's in color there of the figure. It looks really awesome. Down here, you have Evangelion Test Type 01, R number 268, official licensed Evangelion merch sticker, as well as a Tamashii Nations quality sticker, the Tamashii Nations and Bandai logo there. On this side, it says Evangelion Test Type 01, and then it has the figure number again, as well as it says Robot Spirits Inside EVA. Nice image of that figure, I think I already said. And then this side here, it's in red, just this red image of the figure again. It says Evangelion 2020, EVA, Test Type 01, Robot Spirits again. On the top here, it's this nice, almost grayscale image of the figure running. It has the R number again, Robot Spirits. And then on the bottom here, it's an image of the figure using the progressive knife, the number again, Robot Spirits and Evangelion Test Type Unit 1. We go to the back here, and there's actually a really nice window box where you can see the figure in there. You have some different poses, as well as some different accessories being shown off on the packaging. It says EVA Test Type 01, gimmick and option and whatnot. And down here, unfortunately, I don't really know what is being said here, but it's most likely some warnings and other legal stuff on here. It does say ages 15 and up, and we do have a barcode in case you need that for some reason. So let's go ahead and get this figure out of the packaging. So here's the figure out of the packaging, and it is honestly an amazing figure. I think Bandai did an incredible job. I am not entirely sure what's different between this one and the previous version. I don't own the previous version, but I heard there are some improvements with this new one. But overall, it's just a freaking sick figure. Seriously, it's really well done. So let's talk about the accessories, which it comes with a lot, and I'll try to go through that as quickly as possible, and then we'll get to the actual figure. Before we start, we do have a really big instruction pamphlet here. You are definitely going to want to read this if you're getting this figure, because I did get confused in some areas on how to, especially the AT field here, and you just use some of the other accessories. And yeah, this is very useful. So this figure comes with a ton of accessories. I'm not even showing off the AT field yet, which I'll have to show off in a little bit, but man, just a ton of stuff. Of course, we have a bunch of alternate hands, which they are all done pretty similarly. So I'm going to talk about this quick pair here, and then we'll just move on with the rest of them. Really nicely done. I like how they did, these are more open expressed hands. I really like how they did the molded purple plastic. They also have some nice smaller paint apps, like right here on the thumb and the finger right there on the knuckle. Some silver as well on the knuckles. They look really well done, as well as that black as well. And they're also softer plastics. You don't, they're not entirely super gummy soft like Marvel Legends, but still soft enough if you need to push some things around. You won't be breaking these. We also have a pair of trigger hands. These are meant for holding the progressive knife as well as the pallet rifle. These also look really nice, so they have multiple purposes. These are more clenched fingers, gripped hands. These are meant for pretty much sticking the hands through the hole of the AT field. I know I'm covering these a bit. There we go. We also have these more flat hands. I think I already said it. Comes with relaxed hands. These aren't it. I'll show off the relaxed hands in the detail portion of the review. These are really nicely done though. Last but not least, we do get a pair of fists, which fists are really nicely clenched and really nicely detailed. All the hands are pretty nicely detailed, so I dig these a lot. We also have this alternate shoulder piece here. This, I believe, is for the left shoulder, and I'll have to show it off later towards the end of the review, but the shoulder pads are removable, and you can peg this into there and expose the progressive knife, this is actually really nicely detailed. You did a really good job. Nice paint, silver on there. It has a little bit of different types of silver, and it kind of has this shiny paint to it. It's really well done, as well as the purple and green and black on there is nicely molded and sculpted too. We have this additional horn piece. I never knew what exactly, you know, what the exact name of this is supposed to be, if there is, but I assume this is just an extra piece in case you damage one. I don't believe they're different in sculpt. I looked at both of them. The one that I came packaged with, this wasn't it. That had a little bit of a green speck on there, so maybe I'll just use that one that I just showed off for the regular one. We have the progressive knife, which, again, is really well done. You can see a little bit of a better idea of what I was trying to say. With the blades, there's some nice silver shimmering going on there. The brown, the gray in the handle is also really nice, and that red line coming through is extremely well done. Here is the pallet rifle. This thing looks great. It's a bit minimal on paint in certain areas, like pretty much the whole gun except for that yellow part right there. But I'd say it's fairly accurate to how it's supposed to look. You know, really nicely detailed with little bits of rivets right there in certain areas. The barrel's nice. Handle and the trigger's nice. Overall, it's a really awesome weapon. Last but not least, which, I mean, I haven't gone over the AT field yet, of course, but we do have the umbilical cord here, which plugs into the back. I'll have to show that off towards the end of the review. This thing is also really nicely painted and sculpted. Has this shimmering detail, just like the progressive knife. It has some nice red and some purple. It's like this metallic purple, I'd say. And man, that is really nice. And it's a pretty long piece, man. Look at this. This goes into a Tamashii base if you own one. Which, I mean, you don't need one to plug this into the back, of course. This thing is just really long, and it does have a bendy wire. It came packaged bent in this middle right here. You can really bend it however you want. I wouldn't bend it too much. I'm not saying this is super fragile, but over time, who knows what could happen to this. We also have this clear plastic piece that is supposed to connect to a Tamashii base if you have one. And this pretty much clips underneath the figure, so that way you can do certain poses with this underneath there, like jumping and running poses. And then we do have the AT field here. It comes in different parts. You just have the very basic AT field, a bunch of different clear pieces as well as a base. Essentially, you're supposed to tab things in together. There's a hole in one side of the AT field. You tab those pieces around it, and then you stick it on the base. It's supposed to look like it's a floating AT field, which I think is really nicely done. And the AT field itself is actually pretty cool. It's this translucent flat plastic. It's almost like the type of material you'd see with like a school binder or folder. Did a really good job with the coloring here, where it's like purplish, pinkish, going into like yellowish, orange, and green here. Overall, it looks really cool in the way that they did the hole as well. It's pretty nice. So looking at this figure, my god, I think Bandai Tamashii Nations did an absolutely stellar job with this figure. This might be one of the better looking figures in my collection, just on its own and when it comes to the other stuff I have from Tamashii Nations. This thing looks really good. I'm going to zoom out real quick. Hopefully it's in focus. And you're just going to get a quick 360, man. You have to see in all of its glory just how good this looks. And it is just, again, so good. So head sculpt is extremely fantastic. The eyes came through really nice. It's kind of like a gold type of metallic plastic, I think, that they have in the eyes there. The horn is actually really well done. Now, I don't know the anatomy of this figure, like what, you know, this is part of the mouth, of course, but I don't know, like, the actual, like, purposes. So I'm just going to equate it to real life stuff. The cheeks here came through really nicely and sculpted just really well, with some nice shimmering paint going on in there too. Most of the paint is either shimmering, a slight metallic, or matte kind of color, where it's kind of shiny as well. Like in the green, as you can see, it's pretty shiny. The black is also just basic, but shiny as well. The purple is definitely more matte. There's lots of nice lines going on the legs, as you can see. Certain areas of the arms, like this, almost anywhere you see a line, it's sculpted. It looks really good. The coloring too, with the green and this orange right there, came through really well. This is what the relaxed hands look like. So there's that one. There's the other one. This little arm piece underneath the arm. And the only problem I have with this figure is that the shoulder pieces, since they are removable, once you pop them out, they are a little loose. This one I was able to pop back in, When I pushed in, you'll hear just the faintest little pop. I haven't done it with this one yet. I haven't found the pop yet. This thing's going to kind of fall out. So that's a little annoying. What's cool is this is definitely not new, of course. I'm going to move the head up. That part of the sculpt moves with it. And that is just an awesome attention to detail. The mouth opens too. There's even paint in the mouth. It's like red and all that. It's awesome. Nice silver. Very dark gunmetal silver. And some dark red in the chest there. Lots of nice lines. You know, you have these outer parts of the arm covering the black there. And these parts, of course, move. As you can see, there's the back. You get even more of this gunmetal silver. And, man, it just looks so good. I'm geeking out, man. It's just a fantastic looking piece. And there's so much detail going on, I can't really describe a lot of it. But what I can say is that it's just... every piece sculpted on here is sculpted extremely well. The lines are really nicely sculpted. They did not skimp out at all. In the color too, it's very nice. There is very little splotching. I can see a very faint orange on the black here, and I can't even notice it that well. It is so minuscule. I really like how they did the feet here too. This part here kind of shifts around. There's like this little peg system on top of the foot, so it could shift this way, shift that way. I wouldn't mess around with it too much if you can help it, just in case it's too fragile. But the bottom of the feet have some absolutely stellar sculpting. Look at this. That is top notch. It may look pretty minimalistic, but it's just such a cool attention to detail. I don't know if I'm missing any details I should be going over, but man, this thing is just so good looking. I know that's the whole thing I've been saying. It's good looking. It looked good. I haven't really gone into much detail. I don't know. This looks like it can move, but I don't think it can. So I'm not going to try it. But man, it's just such an absolutely amazing figure. So with Tamashii Nations, they also have great levels of articulation. This figure is no exception. There's lots of nice ball joints everywhere, especially in the head and in the neck. Hinged jaws you can see there. We do have slight tilt up and down. You got to see that sculpted piece earlier move with the head. That's just great engineering. Side by side again, a little bit of a rotation. The neck here kind of helps, so it just allows for a lot of really nice dynamic posing. There's actually a hinge right here behind the arm for the shoulder piece, as well as the ball socket. This, I think it's actually loose on this one here. That's why it's, you know, loose like this. This one is pretty stiff in there, but the actual shoulder pad does have a ball joint that can go up and down just a tiny bit. We do have a little bit of a butterfly joint going on here, going forward and back. You can kind of see the pins right there in the arm, which might bug some people, but it's not a big deal to me. You can go outward really far, so lots of great range of motion already in the arms and shoulders. Upper arm swivel here, and then we just actually get upper arm or a lower arm swivel right there. And then another lower arm swivel right here at the hinge, but it's not very strong or prominent. So I wouldn't really swivel this too much. Then we have a single joint elbow, which actually works as a double joint. It is really well done. I'm trying to figure out how to focus the camera. I do apologize. So hinge swivel system that we get with a lot of SH Figure Arts figures, where it has all this different type of dynamic posing you do with the wrists. Lots of ball joints at the chest and stomach areas where you see these panels over the black. So it allows for some swiveling here, swiveling here, swiveling here. Lots of great crunch forward and back, a little bit side to side. Rotation is not completely full because all these pieces do get in the way. There's potential that you could scuff this green piece over here, scuff the purple piece over the green, just a heads up. Drop down method for the legs. I can go downward like this, kick out like that. Back actually pretty far. The in and out's a little poor though, but it does have an upper thigh swivel, double jointed knees where it kicks its own butt. That's awesome. We do have a swivel here, as you can see, and I already talked about this piece over the foot right there. It can shift around and whatnot. It goes up, up and down. We do have a classic hinge right here. It's classic pivot. And then we have a toe hinge, which is so nicely hidden that I didn't even know there was a toe hinge. So that is just all around awesome articulation for this figure. So to give you an idea of how tall this figure is, I have some action figures that share a similar height. From left to right, we have the SH Figure Arts Cell Saga Vegeta with a different head, the Robot Tamashii Gundam Barbados, the Star Wars The Black Series Beskar Mandalorian, and the Marvel Legends War the Captain America. So this figure is pretty tall. If this was supposed to be an accurate scale with like 1/12 figures, it'd be like 12 feet tall. So I'm not really blaming it for being small, of course, but I'm just showing you again just how tall it is. It scales really well with other robot figures, of course, like Robot Tamashii Gundam Barbados there. It is about 6-7 inches tall, I would say, more in the 7-inch tall range, especially to the top of its head. So overall, I am thoroughly impressed with how Bandai Tamashii Nations delivered this figure. It is extremely well done, and honestly might be already one of my favorite action figures in my collection overall. They did that good of a job. I definitely recommend this figure if you don't own any other EVA merch and you want to get some figures for your collection. Even if you own some previous figures, I do still recommend this figure. They did an absolutely fantastic job with the articulation, paint, sculpting, just so much great detail. And it's just a very fun figure to pose around, of course, and it has some great accessories as well. My only issue with my figure is that one of the shoulder pads is a little loose, but that's it. That's the only problem I have. I have no other complaints, except for maybe a little bit of a green splotch on the horn that this came packaged with, but even then, it's so hard to tell. Again, such a fantastic figure. I cannot stress it enough. It is a little pricey. It's about 60 to 70 bucks. I got mine on Amazon for like 65. There are other online retailers you can go through as well. I'll leave the link down in the description below, but this is just such a fun figure to have. Thank you guys very much for watching. Please subscribe to the channel. Let me know if you want to see some more anime figure reviews. I do have some other anime figures. I'm thinking about doing a lot more soon, so let me know down in the comments below. Thank you again for watching. Please subscribe to the channel. Comment down below what you think about the figure, what you think about the review. Leave a like, share amongst your friends. Follow me on Instagram, and I will see you guys later.